Emerging Evidence News is a science media outlet that translates recent primary sources into plain English. We will break down the emerging scientific knowledge that impacts daily life in a way that is useful to anyone. Before launching a series of science video essays, I need to define my goals more broadly. I'll admit right away, my opinions on this topic are heavily influenced by the epistemologist Karl Popper, as are most professional scientists, whether they know it or not. The word science has taken on more than one meaning in recent centuries, but fundamentally, science is a method of understanding the world based on looking for things that should not exist under our current understanding. The scientific method understands the world in terms of theories. A theory is simply a statement that specific events will never occur, and the scientific method is a way of putting yourself in a position to observe such forbidden events. The best known theories are expressed in the form of equations. For instance, the force required to accelerate an object cannot be anything else but the mass multiplied by the desired acceleration. The modern world is largely organized around these theories, so fundamentally that even watching this video by using the electronics designed with capacitance and voltage in mind is a constant test of those theories. The most thoroughly tested theories that have not been falsified form the basis of scientific knowledge that we accept as fact for all practical purposes. Outside of philosophy, the modern world is home to many scientific institutions. From for-profit medical journals to government agencies, these organizations take money from their customers or citizens and use it to maintain an incentive structure that pushes professional scientists to focus their best efforts in the most important areas. When I report on developments in science, I am fundamentally repeating what these institutions have written. But why should you believe it? Every post-industrial society has a set of institutions that reward high-quality, honest, scientific work and punish fraud and redundancy. These systems are far from perfect, but this is roughly how they are structured. Everyday people and their representatives understand that new knowledge will improve their lives in the long run. And while they may not be able to generate knowledge themselves, they collectively have a huge amount of resources. Because citizens and senators lack the expertise to directly regulate scientists, they allocate or donate money to funders. The funders then ask scientists for proposals and only fund the research that furthers their clients' goals, be it donors or citizens. Scientists have to build credibility with funders by publishing articles in prestigious, peer-reviewed journals. These journals do the hard work of vetting scientist claims because they can sell access to the articles they produce. Traditionally, university libraries are the major subscribers to science journals. The government subsidizes these libraries because they allow us to navigate a huge number of dense, extremely technical papers so we can answer our most pressing questions in the form of summarized knowledge. So why trust this modern system? Everyone competes to uncover flaws. Journals that publish false, low-quality, or redundant papers go out of business. No one wants to buy their articles. Funders who give money to bad scientists will lose credibility with their donors over time, and scientists have to verify their work with outside experts at a journal if they ever want to get funding. The modern science infrastructure has given us tools to quantify how credible a scientist is based on their performance in the journals, and the journals can also be compared based on how often their papers are mentioned by other journals. On the broadest level, anyone over a certain age can tell you about a time when most people had no idea cigarettes were bad for you or that the universe is billions of years old. The system we have is slow and corrupt to a certain extent, but it has allowed us to aggregate our efforts to answer practical questions as well as deeper ones about our place in the world. So how do we know when to accept something as true? Over a period of decades, scientists will test important theories from every angle. Mathematicians, physicists, archaeologists, chemists will all use their unique skills to figure out what observations would violate the standing theory and go looking for them. Thousands of specialists will spend entire careers turning over every rock to look for things that cannot exist under the proposed theory. If, after all that effort, the theory still holds up, then it must be true enough to live by. at least for now. This series of video essays will document the process of theories making their way from suggestions to hypotheses to physical laws governed by strict equations. We will dive into bleeding-edge research in the most consequential fields, as well as the history of facts that we now take for granted. And through it all, we will start to see patterns in which theories stand the test of time and which do not. Just remember, there is no ground truth in the world of science. There is a process defined by a handful of principles, but there are no rules written in stone. We can solve humanity's greatest challenges if only we can understand them. We can find out where we came from and whether we're alone in the universe. So let's get started.